Hello, Vengeancer here. Throwing Liberty time. Now, I've been playing it I think I said this last time, and I kind of went over it a bit. I've been playing an unhealthy amount of this game. I'm doing like a dynamic world event right now. I don't know why for some of these events it pulls your health down. I normally have 26,000 health, but it like D-levels you. We're gonna put this event on pause so I can go get this tree. So I have come to the conclusion that this game is unhealthy for an addictive personality. I don't know why I'm having as much fun as I am. Maybe it's just because my wife enjoys it, and I gave it the benefit of the doubt and give it a chance. And some of the game loop is, I went over it a couple weeks ago about kind of how the game loop is, but some of it's annoying and feels like chores. Oh, a golden apple. One of the hardest freaking things to get in the out of the fruit tree loot. So the fruit trees, the reason I'm gathering, they only appear during rainstorms while it's raining, and it happens to be raining right now because somebody made it rain. And the only way you can get golden apples is to gather trees during the rain time. Smash! Alright. Back to the event. Lagging a little bit though. I don't do very much damage. The tank class, the sword and shield does not do very much damage at all. However, the greatsword does a lot of damage, so I'm kind of half and half. You can look at my skills. If you're familiar with the game, you know that most of these, I've got about 4 or 5 of them that are sword and shield. The rest of them are greatsword. It's a dual weapon system. I went over all this before.
The allotted time has passed.
We'll make sure to
These are the adventurers who collected the most tokens so far. Those in
Hey
the
look, I'm
highest
rank 1.
rankings
Nobody's
will be
doing this
eligible to
event,
receive
but
special
I'm doing
rewards.
this because our guild contract says Mana Frenzy, and so that's what I'm doing. You know, we did a PvP thing, my wife and I, over the weekend. I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember which day it was. But we did a PvP event with the guild, and we absolutely, as a guild, got our butts handed to us by a guild with more numbers, a better guild. I don't know. I don't really know what happened. I just know that it was pretty disorganized, and I'm getting my butt kicked. And we didn't have a good time. These things do magic damage, and my character is not built to counter magic damage very well. Probably why I got my butt kicked. So, it's kind of a... Yes, it's traditional MMORPG Trinity system in the game, tank, healer, DPS, but it's also a rock, paper, scissors system where you have melee, ranged, and magic.
We'll sure to wrap up
There's no
this
way to
ritual.
build effectively to counter all three, so as far as my character goes, you can see I have a lot of melee defense, a lot of ranged defense, and my magic defense lags behind. It's the same with my endurance that counteracts the crit for all of them. So I kind of have one of those things where I do good against 2 out of the 3, but magic users absolutely destroy me. And now if I can get onto them and stun them, I can kind of hold my own, but it's very hard because they have a lot of slows, and it really just, that was lag. It really just depends. However, you can't be invincible for all. But back to my story, we got our butts absolutely destroyed at the guild fight. I think our leaders bit off a little more than they could chew that time. Several of them were talking a big game, and then kind of got shown that we need some work. And I don't have the best in slot weapons, which is my other point. After this weekend, I've been contemplating, what is this guy doing? I've been contemplating what I'm gonna do, because March 6th, which is like not quite 3 weeks away, right? It's like a little over 2 weeks. They're dropping the game expansion, and it's gonna be new gear and new weapons, new everything. There's a magic user. He's using a staff and a bow. But I really have a decision that I have to make as far as, do I try to rectify the fact that I have gear that needs to be better now, or do I just deal with the crappy gear and wait until the next tier of gear comes out? I don't know. I've started rectifying some of it, because there are aspects of my character that I had built incorrectly, I guess, to go along with the meta. Or just kind of wrong. I've learned some things. So everyone runs like collision resists, so there's no point. And collision is like the hard CC where you knock people down. I'm not running much resist at all, and this is something else I want to talk about. The stat points. See, look, it downgrades you. It downgrades you very, very hard. It like takes your gear away. I'll talk about it after this event. Because I can't really talk about it with my stats lowered.
Leaf magic will be activated in the completed magic circle so that everyone can move around easily.
Because I have a specific build, and it's all based off of stats, and with my stats lowered, I can't really show it very well. But anyway, tanks go for certain specific stats, and when I did my character build, there were 4 stats. Well, since then they added Fortitude. I'm 3? How did that guy get so many? Went from not having any to having 500.
Tokens to the one who completed the last magic circle. We'll activate the flame magic circle.
We're gonna have to go somewhere else.
Extra tokens to the one who completes the last magic circle.
How am I gonna get over there? Anyway, when I did my character build, Fortitude was not a stat in the game. They added it after that. So what that means is I have to rebuild everything. And you take gear. You take gear based on. I take gear based on what stat points I want, because the more stat points you have, the stronger your character is.
For the Earthquake Magic Circle. Begin. I gave 50 extra tokens to the one who completed the last magic circle.
We'll make sure to wrap up this ritual.
Cool. So
the flood will soon be coming to an end. These are the adventurers
who
collected the most tokens so far. Those in the highest rankings will be eligible to receive special rewards.
Why did he change that? Oh, it's because we finished it. That is the only thing that I was worried about doing. I'm just going to kind of chill now and finish talking about my talk point. I was just doing a guild contract because I wanted a guild contribution. You basically want to take gear that gives you stats that you want, because the stats that you want will increase your character a lot more than if you're just randomly doing gear. Let me get up on this rock. So, let me talk about these things here. Strength, you can kind of see what it increases, and if you hit like 70, you know, every 10, you get a threshold, you get extra on top of it, but at the bottom, you get like min damage, max damage. It gives you all the little things there. Each one does something different. Dexterity is basically like your evasion and stuff, and crit, evasion and crit, and you get some bonuses as you get it. Strength is defense and health, but it only gives you melee and ranged. It doesn't give you magic. And then of course each one of them gives a little bit of damage or attack speed or cooldown. Wisdom gives you mana. It's all and some max damage and cooldown. It's basically like a mage stat. Perception is like a PvP stat. It increases your hit chance and your CC chances and gives you a little damage. Fortitude is a tank stat. It gives you damage and magic defense and all endurances and resistances. So that was added after I did my character build. So my character build is not as tank as I need it to be. So I'm trying to rework it. I want to push for 70 strength and 70 fortitude. So hopefully when tier 2 comes out in 2.5 weeks, or not quite 2.5 weeks,
those in the highest rankings will be eligible to
hopefully I
receive
can.
rewards.
I was trying to wait for that event thing to be quiet. Hopefully I can hit 70 fortitude, 70 strength, and then put in some perception. I'm currently at 70 strength without my stats being downgraded, and I have a little bit more in each one of these. My gear is, oh, let's just go back to the gears window. It's fully traded, so I can't upgrade anything there. When I say fully traded, underneath there's 3 traits. They're all unlocked and they're all maxed out to 4. And I did my best with taking tank stats and best in slot. My weapons are as well, but that is the thing that I've realized.
Finally be over. At least for
Good,
now.
maybe you'll shut the heck up.
These are the adventurers who gathered the most tokens for this
Got
mission.
some runes that are useless.
We may have failed to strengthen the barrier for now, but efforts weren't wasted.
Got a cooking chance box. Yeah, these runes
We'll
are useless. I
continue
need
to
blues.
strengthen the barrier until we can finally put an end to this.
But I got a
flooding.
couple of good things out of that.
Hopefully,
Not too
you'll
bad.
be there to help us again when the time comes.
Battle pass. I need to do some dynamic events, so that's what I was working on because I wanted the rune chest. And yes, I bought the premium pass, but I did it with Lucent that I earned in game. I have not spent a dime on this game. You can earn Lucent through selling stuff on the auction house, and then you can use it in the shop as well. So the real currency is what's used on the auction house. And I sold a bunch of stuff I got from farming in game, and then you can. It's only 500 Lucent for the pass, so it's not that big of a deal, but it gives you a lot of stuff. Anyway, now let's look at my stat points now that they're not reduced. So, I am... If I'm full tank, running dungeons, this is my build. I'm at 43, 33 gear score, 70, 30, 10, 35, and 31. I would love to have my fortitude higher than that, but there's no way for me to really get it higher than that right now because the gear doesn't offer fortitude. I'm hoping when tier 2 comes out that I can get gear that gives strength and fortitude, and I will adjust accordingly because I'm going to have to upgrade all this gear anyway. My dilemma right now is that I have realized as a tank, the most important stat that I can get is block chance, and the only way to get that is from the sword and shield. Well, my shield block chance on this weapon is 19%. So I am at a dilemma on whether I should focus on the now and then focus on the later, instead of doing like I always do and just hoarding stuff and always waiting for later. If I focus on the now, I need a Nirma sword, because if I do compare with the Nirma sword fully upgraded, it has a 27% block chance, whereas mine only has 19. It actually gains a quarter of a meter range, but it slows down attack speed a little bit. It has more damage. It has more damage reduction. Overall, it has better stats. However, it has wisdom instead of strength, so I will lose strength, which strength is my most important stat point. It will also make me lose 1300 health, because it does not have the ability to have a max health trait, and it does not have quite as much on the max health if you look about halfway down. It also has a passive that on Shield Strike, stun the target for 0.3 seconds. That is my most important skill. Shield Strike is my bread and butter skill on this character. For Sword and Shield, it is your #1 ability. The first one that you get if you're leveling, and the way that it goes. So I am considering swapping to a Nirma, and if I do that, then I will have to swap my greatsword, because right now I have a greatsword, Duke Magnus Fury Blade, and all this stuff popping up on the screen is for guild stuff. Basically, it is a decent sword, but it is not best in slot. The Adentis sword from the bosses is the best in slot right now, and it gives 10 strength. This one actually gives 10 dexterity and cooldown speed, but the Adentis, if I go look, so we got Nirma to swap to. If I hold Alt C, I compared. I already did that and showed that, but if I look at the greatsword, the Adentis, I can hit Shift and then hit C and compare these two. The Adentis actually gives 8 strength, so I would only be losing 2 strength. I would be losing dex, but I can work that out. I would be losing out on stat points overall, because basically I lose 20 and I gain 8 back, because the other sword and shield, the Nirma, gives me wisdom and I don't need wisdom, but I would be gaining damage overall, and the Adentis passion stat passive skill gives me 3 damage per 1000 health, up to, I think it's up to like 30,000 or something. Basically it's up to 20,000, because the max you can get is 60, so I pretty much would always have 60 extra damage, which is nice. I also lose the cooldown speed, but it is best in slot if you don't have a Tevent, and Tevent is Arch Boss, and it's just overall better. It gives you strength and dexterity. That's the one that I really want, and the only way I'm going to get that is by farming Tevent shards. I need 180 of them, and that farming is not going well. The other thing is if the guild we manage to drop one as a guild and they give it to me. Yeah, it's a best in slot. Now, the other best in slot is Queen Belendir's. It's the other boss weapon. It also gives 8 strength, but you lose health completely off of it, to compare the sword and shield. And it gives more block chance in my current one, but it doesn't give as much as the Nirma. So, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. It's going to cost me quite a bit to swap, because I will have to fully retrade it. And so I've been that's my dilemma. The only other way for me to power creep my character before tier 2 comes out and to improve it is ruins and skill books. Well, I'm mostly maxed out on skill books. I don't have, most of these things are max level. I'm missing the mana skill, Witty Retort. It needs a couple levels. I'm missing Annihilating Slash. It needs a couple. And Shield Throw. I don't even use Shield Throw. I don't know. I don't like that skill. Even if you skill spec into Shield Throw, it's just kind of useless. It'll bounce around. It's just a useless skill. I don't know. It's one of those that it's okay, but there's always more skills that are more useful, and you just don't have enough skill slots on your hotbar. So it'll probably be the last one to max. I got one other passive to do on Sword and Shield, and then I'm fully maxed out. Pretty much the same on Greatsword. I got a couple active skills. I don't use Will Breaker really, just because I have so many other skills I want to use, and then I got a couple of passives to max. So I'm getting to the point where my skills are almost all max level, and I'm gonna run out of headroom to do power creep there. Masteries are another thing, but I'm getting close to 20. I'm behind because I told this story before. I leveled as a staff greatsword user, so my staff was level 14 before I ever started using sword. And I didn't really use the greatsword much. I used it for the passives, and then I just played as staff, so I was basically a sword-carrying mage that used the greatsword for passives mostly. I had like 1 or 2 of the active skills. The rest were just full-on mage skills. So my greatsword is probably should be 20 by now, but it's almost 19. But I've gotten my sword and shield caught up. We're almost 18, and then as soon as I mean, we'll be 20 hopefully by the time the content drops here in a little over a couple weeks. So those 2 things are the only way I can do power creep, and I'm almost out there. The other thing is ruins, and I'm getting close to being maxed out on those. I am swapping these around, so basically I'm running health on all my defense runes. I'm running some hit chance here, although I may switch over to damage boost, and then I'm using skill damage resistance in the support runes where I can. Right now this one's got healing received because I didn't have a skill damage resist, but I'll swap that out when I can. But I've got health and melee hit chance, skill damage resist, health. It's pretty much all the same all the way through. I have silence resistance there because it was my highest level rune, because I didn't have a damage resist rune at the moment. I'm just waiting to find one. And there's a skill damage resist, health, and this one, melee heavy attack chance on the bracelet is the best, and then the rings, the melee crit chance is the best for me. And healing received instead of skill damage. And I didn't have another health rune, so I'm just running magic endurance for now so I can get the synergy. Now, as far as synergies go, the wall shaked. Shaked? Shook. The wall shook. Something hit something out there. I don't know what that was. As far as synergies go, if I hover over these, you can see I've got 3 runes. It's a nice blue bar. So I got strength and crit damage resist, and strength crit damage resist on both of those. Damage reduction on the belt with some health, and max health dexterity 2, attack speed max health perception, which I may be able to swap that around a little bit. I don't know what I could get. I could do cooldown speed. I could do strength max health. See, I could swap that over, and that would make up. I would drop perception, but that would make up for losing some of the strength off of there. And I could do the same thing on this ring as well. I would drop perception, but I could get more strength out of it. So I have options if I swap my perception. Doesn't matter to me as much as the strength. So if I'm gonna lose something, I would prefer to lose perception. The hit chance, and this is where I was considering it. The hit chance is basically, the problem here is with this setup in PvP. If I swap over to my group PvP, which is basically me being tank with some CC skills, I have 1,000 and something hit chance. There are people, and if I fully spec into, if I went full crazy 70 perception, you know, just as much as I possibly could, I might get to 1,1300 hit. But people are running, like, I saw a guy, he was running 2,400 melee evasion. There's no way for me to counteract that. It doesn't matter if I full stack hit chance or not. So I've kind of backed off perception, and I need to just be as tanky as possible, because my value in PvP doesn't come from 100% hitting people. I'm not a DPS, so killing people is not my priority. My priority is to be as tanky as possible and to use Devoted Sanctuary, and it puts chains on all of my party members, and I take 70% of the damage for them. So if they get hit, 70% of the damage they would take goes to me. And then I have ways to mitigate that. I have tons of damage reduction built into all these other self buffs. I have a self HP buff that gives me more defense. I have a party buff that gives damage reduction, and I have another party buff that I'm spec'd into that gives a little bit of health and regen, attack speed, and more damage reduction, and a small heal. So, you know, I'm built to take that, and then I have my barrier, which increases my shield block chance, so by 34%. So if I'm at like 34% plus, let me look at this. I get more shield damage reduction. I just got a bunch of stuff built in, so it's 34% plus whatever 19 is. What is that, like 50 something? And if I were to get that other 8, I would be at like 60% shield block chance. So, you know, it's like less than a coin flip on whether or not I block it or whatever. So I'm built to take all the damage and mitigate it. And that's my job in the PvP. And then my backup job is to crowd control and peel anybody that's trying to kill my party members off of them. You know, finishing kills off. I have one nuke skill to finish skills off, and I have my piercing strike or whatever you want to call it. That's what the skill is called, but it's like my bread and butter skill for like poking. But really my big gimmick is to buff up, pull all the damage to myself, and then reflect it. And then I have a bunch of CC skills and a couple finishers to help with help the DPS, while make sure that my wife, that's the healer, she makes sure that she survives. So that's my whole plan. So really, hit chance isn't as important to me because most people are running so much collision resistance or stun resistance that my CCs are only partially effective anyway, and I'm not doing enough damage for the melee hit chance stacking to really matter. Maybe in arena it might, but those guys that are running 2000 melee evasion, I'm not going to hit them anyway, even if I full stack. So losing some perception versus losing strength, I would rather lose perception. And then it'll make me lose a bit of base damage, but that's okay because whenever I swap weapons, it'll make that go up anyway. So I'm just weighing the options. So that's kind of my thoughts on tank. You know, it's very, maybe it's the same, maybe it's not as other people's opinions, but currently I think that's the best play, is to swap to the best in slot right now. Wait for the Archboss weapons and Tier 2, and then redo my build when Tier 2 comes out. But holding off now, I'm just, it's making me want to not play as much. Like, I was really doing bad after we lost that fight, because we just ran in there, and I was just getting ran over, and I'm tanky class. Like, usually I've got 20 people just smacking me, and I don't die. But I was just getting ran over like it didn't even exist. So it was really messing with me. It's like, what's the point, you know? So I either rebuild my character and try and make the best out of it, or I give it up. I don't know. But the guild members were telling me, no, don't switch now. Tier 2's coming out. But, you know, I was thinking about it. They're talking about how it's going to cost so much in terms of resources and Solent, which is the currency in the game, to swap weapons and stuff. And then you got to farm the weapons, and then you got to fully upgrade the weapons. It's going to be like, I'm not going to have a new weapon day one. So I might as well swap now, so that I'm in a better shape to be able to farm the stuff for the future, you know. And it might cost me a little bit of loosen to swap now, and I've already got weapons I can transfer over. The only thing it's going to cost me is some unlock stones to unlock the other two traits, and then some upgrades. So if I can get my hands on both the weapons that I need by doing the bosses, I think the play is to go ahead and swap. Let me transfer back to a town. This is the other thing that I like about this game, is you can teleport anywhere. In the big cities, it doesn't cost you anything to teleport. So I think my gameplay is now consisting of making Lucent, because I'm running out of things to max, and then I'm going to be farming ruins. But we're going to look at some ruins here. Okay, I don't want all of those. I'm going to split these up. I'm going to need 10 of them to be support runs, and 10 of them to be attack runes, and then the rest of them are going to be defense runes. Because I need health runes, and we'll see. But see, I'm getting so many. Healing received on a ring. That's level 4. That might be an upgrade. The problem with these is they drop greens, and I don't need greens. Boss range critical, that does me no good. Let's see if I get any health out of this. Magic evasion, magic heavy attack doesn't do me. Melee heavy attack, evasion, and magic defense. Pretty much all useless. But you come into this little menu and pop the weapon in. Melee heavy attack. Melee heavy attack evasion is not bad. The heavy attack evasion is basically dodging heavy attacks, and if you get hit with a heavy attack, it does double damage. You get 2 attacks instead of 1. More melee, it's the same. All green runes. Magic defense, magic evasion. Boss range, doesn't matter. Magic. Yeah, I'm not going to run that. I'm looking for health, magic evasion. Healing received, I already have a 45. And I already have a 45, so all those ruins were kind of non-existent for me. So here's what I do with them. I come over here to material transmuter and I dump them so that I can get more blue boxes. And we just smush them up. Put them all in this thing. And then we get boxes out of it. And we get another roll. What is this? Boss range doesn't do me any good. Silent doesn't do me a bit of good. So, put them in the smusher. There's one thing that I do like about Throne of Liberty, and that's that I can, once everything's in storage, let's see, we're going to dump all these rare chest chance cooking things in there for the time being. The thing about this is, once something is in storage, you can access it from absolutely anywhere. So if I go over to, like, the cooker, give me over here to this oven. I don't have to withdraw all my ingredients. I can just cook whatever the hell I want, and all my stuff comes over from storage, which is fantastic. Golden apple pie. This is right here. This recipe right here is exactly why we need the golden apples. So we cook one. I do these one at a time. It may make a difference, it may not. And I got a great success. So great successes are what you're looking for, because great successes means that it is a tradable version. If you get a great success, if you don't get a great success, then it's not tradable. And I'll show you the difference after I cook this last one. You want the tradable versions because that's how you make Lucent. And I only got one. So if I come here to the auction house and hit sell, so on to XP. This one is sellable. So I got 3 of these. They're what you use to farm mastery. Right now they're going for 2 point something. So I can't really sell this because the lowest price you can put in to sell something is 10, because it's the cash shop currency that so you can only buy it in multiples of 10. So the lowest you can sell it, I think. I think that's why. And tax figures in, so 10 is the lowest they'll let you go. So the lowest my price per unit is ever going to be is 3 point whatever, and the lowest current price available is 2.1, and I can't go low enough. It won't let me post it. So I'm going to have to craft more And then once I have like 4 or 5 of them, it'll lower that price per unit, and then I can sell all 5 of them at once and make a little bit of money. So I have to go back out and gather more, basically, is what I'm saying. So I've been doing a lot of fishing. In terms of the life skilling on here, I'm pretty well maxed out. I'm level 20 cooking, I'm level 20 expedition. I'm only level 16 fishing, but I have a rod that gives me +3, so I'm 19. 20 is the max, so I'm slowly leveling my fishing up. When I hit 20 on that, then I'll be maxed on the life skills. I don't know if they're going to add more levels or more. There'll be another room for another life skill down here, probably. So pretty much every aspect of the game, I'm running out of, like, it does fit a more casual playstyle, like I said a couple weeks ago, because I'm running out of stuff to do. As far as, like, I'm not bored, it's just I'm finishing a lot of things, like the life skills being finished out, my skill books are all, my skills are getting maxed out, my runes I'm starting to get to where they're starting to be maxed slowly. 60 is max level on them, so I'm in the high 40s and 50s, and I haven't farmed very many runes because I hate doing those, but that's where I'm going to start doing most of my farming is runes, probably, because I need to. My gear is max traded out, so there's nothing else to do there. The only other thing is to go farm mastery. So I've just been farming skill books every day to max out my skills, and when I get enough tokens to be able to run down to the dungeons and stay down there for a little bit, then I go down there and farm mastery. And it's fun, you know, and we're prepping for PvP and stuff.
Is always watching over us.
But this game piques my interest because theory crafting is one of the big things that I like to do, and being able to do different builds and have a bunch of different stats and stuff, it's very different from the Black Desert that I've been playing for all those years. So that's why it's interesting. But I think I'm going to build my tank differently, and I'm going to focus on shield block chance, and then health and skill damage resist, and I need to add in some magic defense, and the last stat I would like to get a hold of is attack speed, because attack speed affects your cast times. I have this skill here called Guillotine Blade, and it charges, and attack speed makes it charge faster, and so that actually helps quite a bit in fighting things. But I noticed a huge difference because I didn't have any points in fortitude, and now I've actually gained a lot in terms of magic endurance. I've gained a couple of hundred. Before I only had like 80 something, and same with magic defense, I gained a couple hundred there, and same with all of the resistances and stuff. I've gained 100 or 200 on each one of them. So fortitude is very good, and the min damage, it actually makes me have more min damage because I was running about 281 max before. If I dump a bunch in dexterity, it'll make my max damage and crit go up, but my crit's already in the 400 range, and my heavy attack is already, and it'll actually be higher than that if I'm doing PvE. But see, my hit chance goes down, but I get a lot tankier and stuff. It's just different. So there is that. But I'm happy with my stats overall. I'm missing some stats. There we go. 26,000. So sometimes when you're swapping things around after those events, they mess with your character. So the stats I was only seeing 23,000 health instead of 26. That looks better. See, now my melee and ranged defense are back up to 25 and 2700 like it's supposed to, and my heavy attack chance is up at 400 something like it's supposed to be. I don't know why the game is glitchy like that. It glitches, but I am happy with the build overall. I'm just a little unhappy with how it plays in some of the PvP, so I'm gonna have to do a couple of things to change it. And like I said, I have a shield block chance of 35% right now. I forget where it comes from. I get 19 from this, but I don't know where the other 16 comes from. I don't know if it's... I can't remember. Let me take that off. I can't take that off, because if I do that, then it doesn't work. I have to remember where the shield block chance comes from. So now it says 19. See what I mean by glitchy? You see, look at that. I swap weapons and now it's back to 35. I think where I'm seeing that extra 16 come from is like in the mastery or something in here. I can't remember. Collision, weekend. There it is. There's an 8% there. So 19 and 8 actually puts me at 27. I don't know where the other... Right there. So yeah, you get 16 from the mastery tree. And they're going to change that in tier 2. It's going to be all sorts of different. So there's going to be lots of theory crafting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The game looks good. The music's good. The movement's a little crappy. I've said that before. But the theory crafting is good. And I like the tab target Trinity style gameplay. I definitely get a lot more party play out of it than I do out of the Black Desert, that's for sure. Oh, it reset my thing. Not happy at all. Where's it at? Ana blood. Ana blood. I don't need fruces. Give me a sec. There's some routine. What comes out of this? Get Bellendir shards. Well, it looks like all of these are Bellendir shards. So I'm looking at these bags because if you get one of these blue bags, there's a chance that you can get one of the soul fragments that you need for the best in slot weapon. It's just a tiny chance, but it's just one more thing to stack to give yourself a possible. Routine. I'm just looking at what Tran apple, herbas. I don't know what I want to put in here. Deciding. I think I'm gonna go over here and farm routines. There we go. Get out of there. So we have our own little personal house, and we have a bunch of little Amatoys. It's kind of like BDO fairies or pets. They follow you around. They pick up your loot. You can only have one, but you only really need one. So I think that's all my message for the day. I've been playing this a lot more than Black Desert, so I figured I'd do a little bit of a theory crafting build session to kind of unload what I've been thinking and to talk about my ideas, what I think the important things on a tank are. But it's definitely shield block chance. If I were to go with the other weapon, it would be in the 40s. And then the barrier adds 34%, so it would be very high. So I'm at 35%, and then it would be another 8 more, so I would be at 43, and then the 34 adds on, so it would be like 77% instead of 69. That extra 8% makes a difference, so I'm tempted. But 43-33, not a bad gear score. That should be closer to 45 if I swap both weapons over. finish out my skill books and my masteries, and then my ruins, I should be at about 4,500. It's a lot of work for a little bit of gain, but 4,500 I think is 45, 46 is maybe 47 if you have archboss weapons. I don't know, but when you hit 45, you're right now before the expansion, you're pretty much maxed. 45 to 47 in there. You're at very minimal gains after you hit 44, 4,500. So I don't see how I could get much more just with how my runes are. I guess if I had all level 60 runes and the other weapons and my masteries, I might hit 45, 50 or 46. I don't know. And then with arch bosses, probably 47. Those guys that have that. So I don't know. And I don't know. Ooh, cool. Nice little chest. What did I get? Trade extraction stones. So the way this works, let's see what's in here. So every time you do a world boss or go to a boss or something, stuff is dumped into the guild chest. And if you were the one that dropped it, you do have you can try and you can claim it, or just give it over to the guild. Now the arch boss weapons work a little differently. They have to be assigned out. You can't just claim them. I'm trying to see if there's some in here. See, there's one of them. We got it, Tevent. And you can't just claim it. The guild can assign it, so the guild leader will assign it to somebody, and they kind of like take a vote, and it's whoever is going to benefit the guild more is who gets it, you know, that kind of thing. But they're not handing this out, and we got a couple of crossbows sitting around in here somewhere too, I think. I don't think they handed them out. You see, we got all of these fragments in here. Look, there's a Queen Belendir's crossbow in there. More fragments. I don't know. Maybe they sold one or handed one out, because there were 2 in there. But that's how we're rolling. That's all I got for the day, and nothing too exciting. Just a couple of thoughts, and just one event, trying to get some guild contribution, keep myself on the good side. 68 out of 70, like Division. I don't know. Waiting for the server merges here in like a week, and then a week and a half after that, the tier 2 gear. So we'll see how things go, and I'll keep you updated. Let me know down below if you got something else you want to do. Oh, for my loyal and faithful viewers, Black Desert is still going strong. I've switched back to fishing. Don't really have much to report on that, so that's why I am here. So you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.